Hey math kids, today we're going to talk about polynomial equations, and let's just jump right in with a example. So it says find exactly the zeros of p of x equals 3x cubed minus 14x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now, what they want us to do first is they want us to graph it. So 3x squared cubed minus 14x squared plus 5x plus 2. We're going to look at that on a graph. So let's change this. Okay. So we look at this, that looks irrational, that's rational, and that's irrational. So we're going to use this one that's probably 2/3. And we're going to assume that's one of the zeros. So we have a 0 at 2/3, and we found that using technology. And if we turn that into a factor, then we know that 3x minus 2 is a factor. The way that we do that, just as a quick review, we say that x is equal to 2/3, and then we essentially solve for 0 and then make sure we don't have any fractions. So we subtract 2/3 from both sides. And then we don't want a fraction, so we multiply everything by 3. 3's cancel here. We get 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. 0 times 3. And that's how we know that that's a factor. Okay, I'll erase this. Okay, now we know that if we multiply this, 3x minus 2 times, if we're trying to make this first one, we're going to get just x squared. If we're trying to make this last one, it needs to be a -1. And then we don't really know what's in the middle, so we're just going to set that equal to a constant. So there's some value a that's going to, give us this. And so what we need to do is multiply this out. So we're going to get 3x cubed plus 3ax squared minus 3x minus 2x squared minus 2ax and then plus 2. So we double check to make sure that these lined up with these, so that's good. And then we want to combine like terms. So as far as our x squared terms go, we have 3a minus 2. And then we have -3 minus 2a as far as our x term goes. And then we have our plus 2. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the coefficients. 3 and 3 don't help us, 2 and 2 don't help us, but 3a minus 2 corresponds to -14, and -3 minus 2a corresponds to 5. Alright, now we only need to use one of these, so I'm just going to get rid of the bottom one. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. 3a equals -12. Divided by 3, a is equal to -4. And so we can replace this with a -4. And that would be our final answer. So 3x minus 2, quantity, times x squared minus 4x minus 1. And then from here, I guess that's not our answer, sorry. We want to find the zeros. But what that allows us to do, let's see, I need some room. We already know one of our zeros is 2, but we can take the x squared minus 4x minus 1, plug it into the quadratic formula, and see what we get. Okay, we can break up 20 into 4 and 5, which is 2 and 2. Take out the 2's. Leave the 5. 4 and 2 are divisible by 2. So those are the other two roots, or zeros. So we have 2/3 and 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. So those are the answers. Alright, let's try another one. Find exactly the roots of 6x cubed plus 13x squared plus 20x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, so once again, we're going to go to technology. We're going to graph it. So we get 6 plus 13, 20, and 3. Okay, we go here. I can only see 1. And so we have negative 0.1666 repeating. And we need to figure out roughly what that is. So we want it to be like a fraction is what we're going for. And so one thing we can try to do, we can think about like one. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but like we know that 1/3 is equal to 0.333. So we can kind of think of that like a 33, right? Now if we cut that in half, it's going to be approximately 16.5, right? This is pretty close to that. This is actually equal to 1/6. It's half of 1/3. I don't know, maybe I'll do a lesson on exactly how to do it, but for now, just kind of noticing things like that might be good. So it is negative, so it's negative 1/6. So with technology, we were able to determine that it was negative 1/6 for one of our roots, and so that's going to correspond to the factor 6x plus 1. So if we write this out, 6x plus 1, and then we know there's going to be an x squared term. If we multiply that by x squared, it will get us here. And then we know the last one, it's a 1, so we have to multiply that by a 3. And then there's some middle term that we don't know. Okay? So we're going to multiply this out. We're going to say 6x cubed plus 6ax squared plus 18x plus x squared plus ax plus 3. Those are all multiplied by 1, so that's pretty quick. Okay, the beginning and the last are good to go. Now the insides, we want to combine these, and so we have 6a plus 1 x squared, and then combining this and this, we have 18 plus a x. Now we combine the coefficients, or we compare, so we have 6a plus 1 equals 13, and we also have 18 plus a equals 20. We only need one or the other, so I'm just going to use this one. 6a equals 12, so that means a equals 2, so we could replace that. Now, we already know the root from here, so we want to find the root from here. We could try to factor, but it's not going to work, so we're going to use the quadratic formula. So we get the opposite of b, 4ac, 2a. Hopefully you're super comfortable with this by now. 2, 3, negative 12, 4, negative 2 plus or minus square root of negative 8 over 2. Alright, the negative is going to become an I. Oops. Let's leave a space. Okay. And then square root of 8 breaks up into 4 and 2, 2 and 2. So we have a pair, which means a 2 comes out. We have a single, 2 stays in, and that's still under 2. Negative 2 and 2i are all divisible by 2, and so we get negative 1 plus or minus I root 2. So those are two roots, and where's the other root? Right here. So negative 1/6, and then those two are the three roots. If you need additional help, please come to Math Lab. Until then, calculator.